Hi guys, good evening. Welcome to our show. Just a moment. Yeah, okay. Welcome to our show at front of house. Ito, like always, yung technical people natin are behind the scenes, but this is a show where we try to put them front and center para naman makilala sila. It's good na makita nyo, no? We've got, and of course, being in that position, we do have some stories to say, to tell. Minsan nakakaliw eh. But yeah, and you know, this is the show to kind of make us share our stories because our stories matter. Yung ano natin. Norman, Plete, how are you? Good evening. Heritage Public. Yeah, Ilocos. Okay, anyway, again, if you like that track, you know, ako, grateful ako kay Herb Cabral. So if you like that track, Herb Cabral has a SoundCloud account. He produces his own tracks. Check it out at his SoundCloud. Herb Mix Harmonica. Ganun ba? So, okay. Thanks, Herb. And then again, for this show is brought to you by the Music Source for gear and solutions. Check out the Music Source. Their web store is themusicsourceph.com or yan, sa Facebook. I'm sure nakikita niyan. Namalabas sa feed nyo. And yeah, some promos coming up. And oh, that one. Yeah. So we also have, by the way, yung pushing fader. So yan yung pinaka show, pinaka channel natin. And there, meron tayong YouTube channel for that. So nandun lahat ng episodes natin, pushing faders, and some educational videos, and itong at front of house. So you've got your Facebook page as well, and do check it out. And for those also who know about yung ating Mobile Mondays, that has its own YouTube channel. Paki-check out na lang rin. And thank you for your, you know, for watching. I mean, atin na lang rin naman to. So, yeah, I appreciate it. Anyway, and then, yeah, again, thank you for the guys that came on early. Rex Roman Turano, Francis Tolentino, Marlon Sanchez, how are you? And Joshua Lahom, kamusta kayo lahat? And thank you for being here. Now, our yun nga yun, I've been privileged to have been in this industry since the mid 80s. So marami nakita. And again, one of the companies that has flourished, endured, and has really grown from the mobile days to the present is Force Inc. And tonight our guest is VP for operations and one of its FOH guys and technical guys and system techs. And I'm sure a lot of you know him. Let me introduce Mr. Justin Santos. How are you, Justin? Uh, there you go.
Hi
Hey,
guys, good
Justin.
evening.
Yeah. Thank you,
How's
Justin, for
everyone
joining.
today?
I mean, thank you for accepting my invite.
You're welcome, Mario.
Okay. Anyway, well, what keeps you busy right now? Ano ba yung mga ano?
Well, during the pandemic, I got married and now I have a kid. So a lot of my free time is at least spent with my family and my son especially.
Okay, so well, that's the hardest job of all. I could tell you
Yeah, it's also the
that.
most rewarding.
Most rewarding as well.
Yeah,
Anyway,
shout
and
out to my wife. She's watching right now.
oh,
Hi, Abby.
hello, Abby. Kamusta kayo? And again, if you guys have any questions, actually, no, no, bandang mamaya nyo na i-post pag malapit tayo sa part na yun, just in case you want something to ask Justin. Ito na yung pagkakataon nyo. Usually, Justin would be very busy during a show, making the show great, and now got him here. So, anyway, of course, one of the interesting things the show tackles is really, you know, yung beginnings ng isang front of house guy. You know, a guy that handles the sound and ganyan. So, Justin, like you, for those who may not know, Justin is the son of Philip Santos, of course, the founder of Forcing. And, um, in the early days, how did you get started? Did you hang around in the warehouse during the early days? What can you tell us about that one?
Siguro in my childhood, it was common to spend the weekends with my dad at shows.
Mm,
Um, we would go from show to show and sometimes stay in a show and come home late na nga minsan eh.
mm,
But I got exposed to the industry throughout my life actually. But I think it was in high school when I started getting involved.
mm.
Kasi you know how in high school you have special events. So as a freshman, we had our fresh night. Sophomore year, we had our soft night. Third year prom, fourth year ball.
Uh,
Nung freshman year, parang naisip ko, okay, wait lang, events. Tapos, they're looking for people to join the committees. So that's when I really started getting involved kasi the first committee I joined was logistics.
uh,
Parang member pa lang nun eh. So at that time, kabatchmate ko si Drew, Andrew Santos of MVS. He's
yeah.
tuned in right now from London.
Oh, what? Oh,
He's on
okay.
vacation, yeah.
Vacation. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, ayun, Drew and I were logistics members and then we pulled our assets together from both companies, Forsic and MVS, to do that social night in Ateneo. Tapos nung second year, nag-head na ako nung logistics committee. So it got bigger, pare. We were rocking line arrays in the covered courts. Like, kahit maliit yung budget, like, bubuhusan mo talaga ng gamit eh.
True, true.
Um, for third year, I did the same thing. And then come ball, ako na yung naging project head.
Uh,
Kasi parang nag-build up siya eh. Parang from member to committee member to like sub committee head to actual head. So parang sabi ko, yeah, shit, this is something I'd like to do.
mm. But
Come
you were you like already attracted by the technical side, or just like just the whole thing pamuna? Like,
Yeah, kasi ano eh, high school that was 2007 to 2010. The industry was really booming here in the Philippines eh. Ito yung mga time na for like lighting, fine art was such a big thing na
mm,
so many moving heads came into the market. Yung Fine 2K, Fine 2K wash, the beam, Sharpie came out then also.
uh,
Yeah, Chamsies launched around that time din, di
yeah,
ba? Yeah, I remember getting our blue console. Parang I was like, ganda. Kakaibang kulay ah.
wasn't black, eh? That's blue.
Yeah.
Shocking blue. Yun.
And had lots of LED lights, di ba? Compared to the Pearl Expert Bob at the time na parang ang bare, di ba?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then for boards, like dun din pumasok nung high school ako yung ano namin, LS9s, PM5D. I was looking at it, I was going like, wow, like this looks a lot cooler than like I mean, I had no offense to like the analog people kasi we came from Midas, Allen and Heath, 'di ba? Pero
Wala, di
parang
ba?
like, wow, there's screens now. Tapos tablet control was a thing. So
Mhm,
parang I
mhm.
was playing with that na in high school. Come college, 2010, freshman ako, management in Ateneo. Kasi akala ko magko-corporate ako. Pero nung semestral break nun, niyaya ko si dad, "Dad, may opening sa States, JBL Line Array Seminar. Punta tayo." Game naman. So we spent, I think, a few days, like, or a week in LA, in JBL's campus learning about line arrays. And at the time, Mario, promise, like, I didn't know half the stuff Paul Bowman was saying about like line arrays, the physics. To the
Yeah, yeah.
point na jet lag ka pa, nakakaiglip kami ni dad. Tas parang
Okay.
ginigising kami, parang, "Okey, okey, like focus, focus, focus." Pero like now, looking back at some of the notes in the slides, sabi ko, "Oh, chicken na 'yan." Like
Chicken na,
dun ko
okay.
nakikita na ano, eh, nagka-development tayo and we learn every day, 'di ba?
Oo,
Anyway,
ganun
so
nga.
yeah, kasi we bought our Vertec, uh, freshman year 2010, mga gano'n kami nagsimula nun, eh. So, I was totally amazed with line array calculator kahit ano lang siya, 2D.
Mhm.
Malaking bagay na na,
Malaking
wait lang,
bagay.
if you change angles in the speaker, it changes the way it interacts with one
Kumbaga yung
another.
science, no? It's like, wow, the science is like,
Yeah, like parang, okay, don't just throw it up pala. Like, there's a lot involved. Um, that trip also took us to different venues in LA to check out their like line arrays and I don't know, lineary was a big buzzword then, 'di ba? So talagang parang, wow, it's a cool thing. Ayun, so asan na ako? College. College medyo ano, I was a little preoccupied with school for the first 2 years. Pero nung
But
third year ako kasi, this guy named, Paulo Mendoza, I'm sure you know Paulo. Paulo sort of got me into AMP, which is Ateneo Musicians Pool.
mm,
So,
okay.
dito naman, I had the opportunity to step up again. Kasi Ateneo Musicians Pool was handling different artists, in Ateneo. Tapos, third year, this guy named David Lina naman, who has a studio in Cubao, Sunnyside Studios, with
Uh,
Anton Magno, if you guys know the place. Hi to you guys. Um, he knew that I was doing sound systems. So parang during the time that they were looking for people to join the executive board, he was like, nominate Justin. Tapos, ayun, parang nakapasok ko sa board, nagulat ako, parang, wow, anong gagawin ko
okay,
dito?
good.
Tas I'll show you the picture later. Pero
Okay.
basically, nagpatakbo kami ng mga in-org activities din. Do'n din nagsimula yung mga ano eh, mga fake it till you make it kind of thing sa akin na,
Okay.
fuck, like, I'm never gonna start this until I do something. So, yun talaga, I handled my first show. We had an org activity sa Katips Bar in Katipunan. There was a sponsor sound system pero, org, college org, so low budget.
Yeah.
When I got there, I was disappointed with the analog consoles. I was like, Kalayaan's not too far from Katipunan. Hold on, give me 10 minutes. I went to the bodega. They were wondering why I was there like tanghali ng mga Friday.
Okay.
Sabi ko, "Pera ng LS9." Karga sa likod ng kotse, balik sa gig. Dude, I got all their lines, plugged it in. It was scary at the time kasi nobody could help me. Hindi siya yung tipong may dala akong tao namin, may crew akong
Yeah.
sarili. This
Oo.
was me entering a venue with a crew I have never worked with me carrying a board. I actually carried it with Daryl. Daryl's a big guy. Uh, he's my classmate. Yeah, and then yun, had a few minutes to patch everything in. Nagawa naman. The band playing at that time was Never the Strangers. Are you
Mhm.
familiar with them?
Oo.
Yeah,
Sorry.
younger generation.
Yeah.
Anyway, so like, yun, they were playing and they were big at the time. I was like, okay, Justin, don't fuck up. Or I mean, like, I did fuck up, but like now I know that where I went wrong and stuff like that.
Mm.
So at the time, kasi parang I was still trying to wrap my head around what compression was, and I was really squishing the keyboards unnecessarily. Pero
Uh-huh.
like, yung mga ganong experience talaga, that's what's gonna teach you the lessons eh.
Yeah, I get, yeah, yeah. Eh, lalo na kunyari, I mean, you did feel the, like everyone expected you in your org, no? Parang, hey, may sound system yan. So, alam mo yun, yung, he should
Yeah, I
know
mean,
the
pero
best,
full
di ba? Parang,
disclosure, I was like, I'm still learning this. Hindi naman
parang,
tayo full-time diyan.
di ba? So,
Pero ayun, I also in college, I was also able to set up for my own graduation.
uh-huh.
Like ano yun eh, kasi parang there was this recurring tradition na parang ang pangit ng Ateneo grad na it sounded so bad.
Okay.
Eh, one of the reasons why it's bad kasi it's in a covered courts. Tapos ang ginagawa nila dati, the speakers were just on the side.
Uh,
Ta's hindi pa naka-time align. So I was like,
uh,
"Wait lang, let me apply line
exactly.
arrays, let me apply delays." Everything I learned basically at that point. So yun, I set up 4 lines of delays along the covered courts tapos talagang, dialed in the delay times. Ta's I was surprised, intelligibility went up. And then we had a good graduation naman. And then
I get
yeah,
like all, I mean, like, yeah, graduation mo eh, di ba? You want it to be maganda talaga. So,
yeah.
uh,
Well, luckily we won kasi that was bidding also.
okay.
Uh, but yeah. So nung ano yun, after grad, I worked for Force Inc. for a while. Parang the next day yun eh. Parang graduation. And I was like, Dad said, anong rest? Walang rest. Come to work na. So yeah, at the time, I shared the desk in my parents' office. And then I was handling events. Parang helping with marketing,
Mm.
and then making bantay shows. But parang ano eh, I wasn't like a tech per se yet. The shows were still being run by our guys back then. Uh, Kasi parang nakulangan din ako eh. Like, I don't think you can fake it till you make it on a bigger scale or the scale that we do things eh. 'Di ba?
Okay.
I- If you make a mistake there, it hurts the company eh.
Ah, yeah.
So doon ko naisipan na, uy, medyo I need to learn. And then I looked up schools, talked to industry people. Meron sana sa Singapore malapit, pero um, parang mas na-attract ako sa States eh.
Mm.
The big tours are there and everything. So I ended up in a school called Full Sail in Florida, which is miles away. Like,
Oh, yeah.
it's the complete opposite. Kung 12 dito ng umaga, 12 dun ng gabi.
Yeah.
So it was a long flight. Pare, iyak talaga ako nung ano eh, nung umalis ako ng Manila eh.
Uh,
Ah,
like you stayed there for how long? Para dun sa in class school, practically school. I mean,
yeah, practically school, ano siya eh, kakaiba siya in the sense na hindi siya yung 4-year thing.
Uh-huh.
So the program was 24 months. Each month you get like 2 classes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yun, I lived there with Drew. Drew took masters in business entertainment.
Uh,
Ako nag-show production. So the first year was like recording based. So fundamentals of audio, fundamentals of a DAW, psychology of play, things like that. We also had like art history and other fun stuff. Ang saya niya kasi very focused. Yung
uh,
naging criticism ko kasi sa educational system dito sa Philippines is hindi mo natututukan eh. Kunwari in Ateneo, in a semester, you have 5 classes. Sa 5 na yun, 4 mahirap. May isang minsan medyo chill, 'di ba?
mm.
Pero like hindi mo siya matutukan kasi paggabi, iisipin mo, aral ba ako ng accounting or mag-aaral ba ako ng math?
Ah, I
'Di ba
got you.
parang parang gano'n siya or
I
like
got you. Oh,
philo
tama, tama.
took up so much of our time. But in
Oo.
the States, it was like 2 classes, kayang-kaya 'to. Like, um, it was split into two. You would have like a 4-hour lecture tapos a 4-hour lab directly after. So kunwari nagturo sila about mixing sa umaga, rekta na yun to a lab which can be practical in the sense na you're in front of a studio controller or like a MIDI
Mm.
workstation.
So, yeah, I mean, kung ano yung natutunan sa umaga at tinuro, so apply. So,
Yes,
talagang
para hindi mo
mixing and
makalimutan. Kasi
oo.
'di ba ang hirap ng puro theory lang. So
Yeah.
doon, after you learn the concept, you would directly apply it.
Uh-huh.
Come
And,
second year, dun pumasok talaga yung show production track na hiniwalay na kami dun sa mga recording arts. So imbes na parang studio focused, linipat na kami dun sa ibang building na okay, may line arrays na, may live consoles na and stuff like that.
oh. So, it started, malaking class for the general. And then,
Yeah,
yeah, eventually
parang
parang yung majors
pinaghalong
mo.
recording pati live yung unang taon.
Uh-huh.
Tas nung
Uh-huh.
pangalawang taon, yun na lumiit na ng sobra. Parang from a class of mga 60 nagiging mga 20 na lang. Kasi mas
Uh-huh.
maraming gustong mag-studio, eh.
Uh-huh. Ah, okay. Okay. Pero ano ba? Were you the only, Pinoy doon? Yung,
Um, at that time parang pero, I know, different Pinoys have taken different, courses in Full Sail na before.
mhm, mhm.
Yeah. Like I know Gab Valenciano took, recording arts, and then my friend William, he took up film.
Ah,
So, yeah. So people have gone before naman.
ah, so yung so after that 2 years talagang as in 2 years away and trying to learn this. Ano naman nakita mo so, since you were with other people mostly mostly from the US, I'm sure. Para bang doon pa lang ba were you seeing a different culture, work culture or um on how they looked at yung job,
In a
yung
way,
industry?
yes. Kasi siguro there's more opportunity there.
Hmm.
Um, So everybody had really big dreams for themselves, which you don't hear much about here, 'di ba? Parang people don't really talk about it. Pero dun parang okay, like gusto kong ganyan.
Tama.
I
I
want to
know what you're
land a
saying.
big job in this
Oo.
company, or like I want to go tour the world.
Oo, oo, no. Okay,
Work wise naman, I think it's the same. Like it's the same balance. Like there are freeloaders in the class, and then there are guys who really want it.
wanted.
Ang kasabihan naman even before, like in Ateneo, you get what you put in. Like you can pass a class by reading the book, 'di ba? But it's about spending the time learning the topics or getting more out of the program. And I think sad. I mean, I don't know kung sad pero like one of my regrets is not exploring the states too much.
Mm.
Kasi pag weekends, ayun, catch up on homework, advanced reading. Tapos pag Sunday, nagvo-volunteer pa ako sa tinatawag na shit, I forgot. Open house or something like that, where people who want to look at the school come in. So what we do on that Sunday is prepare like shows and like demonstrations.
Uh-huh.
Ang nakahiligan ko dati was to always volunteer for the broadcast room. Kasi in that broadcast room, doon nakatira yung SD7. So
May
there was
ano ka
this
na
huge,
agad, ano?
yeah, I mean like yeah, 'di ba?
Ganun
Like
pa
parang I
kaya?
wanna get time in that room. Tapos nagkaroon ng Waves console doon. Tapos doon din napunta yung SSL, pati what's the Avid one? S6L.
SXL, uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yung mga ano talaga. So, again, it was a, kumbaga, overall, magandang experience talaga. You got to, focus on the lessons and really grow na walang, di ba? I think lamang nun in some ways yung para mga you don't yan yeah, you get to focus hindi parang suddenly later I have to do something else like some
Ang
unrelated
focus ko
thing.
nun, Mario, I have to do my laundry.
Yeah,
Kasi
okay.
'pag ano, living alone pala, 'pag hindi ka naglaba, parang wala kang susuotin
Wala
bukas.
talaga. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and luto. But yeah, it taught it that part also taught me a lot
Tama na.
about living
Alone.
alone. So
Oo.
that helped me naman in my married life. Kasi
Uh,
whatever I learned from living alone there, I'm able to apply in my household right now.
mm. Yung pagkain pwedeng pa ano, pero yung luto ano.
Yeah.
So when I mean with all of that happening and I mean tas in touch ka pa sa Manila and at least kahit pa paano yung growth ng company. In the back of your mind is go like, wow, were you going like, ito, uy, when I get back, ito ma-apply ko to. Ito parang, I don't know. I mean, alam mo yun, yung ganun ba? Yung parang bang, or you just take everything and pagbalik mo na lang, you're thinking, pagbalik ko lang dun sa Pilipinas, tignan ko how to, with all of this, no? Yung parang how to, even position forcing to a more well-oiled machine, kumbaga. Ganun eh.
Actually, that's always in the back of your head pag lessons na parang, how do I apply this in the Philippine context?
Mhm.
Kaya parang I guess that helps you absorb things kasi you're dissecting it na eh, na okay, they talk about like sound system optimization. Parang you already have at the back of your mind, o paano ko to gagawin sa Force Inc? How will I empower our people to be able to do this concept? And
Ah,
how will I translate this to Tagalog?
okay. Oo. Dada lang, di ba? Oo nga naman. So nung ano, after all of that, yung classes mo, nung pagbalik mo uh, sa Manila, did you like immerse yourself right away or parang, teka lang,
I
you know?
didn't take a break, man. Like
Okay. Wala
I
talaga.
went back into work agad.
Uh,
It was fun kasi when I got back, Paolo was working for the company na.
uh-huh.
Actually, like he was in the company during my second year in full sail. So parang I had like a best friend in Force Inc. na.
Yeah, I think I met him, if I'm not mistaken.
Guy with glasses looks like
Yeah,
me.
exactly. Okay, yeah, tama.
Yeah.
Tama. Oo. Okay.
So yun, Pao and I talked a lot talaga while I was there. So
Uh-huh.
parang I would bounce things with him. So
Uh-huh.
yeah.
yung ano naman, yung when tapos nung yun nga, yung pagbalik mo, with your people, um,
Pagbalik ko,
how
yun
did
tandem kami bro. Like, at the time medyo may thing ako for monitors, eh. So, Pa would be out at front of house, I would
uh
do monitors. I'll show you pictures later.
yeah. But
Uh,
then
I
again,
don't know,
I'll
bro.
jump to one question lang,
Mhm.
FOH or monitors, what gives you more excitement?
Now FOH, before
Ah,
monitors. Kasi nung
okay.
starting out parang, you know, it can be lonely at front of house, eh. Pero with being a monitor engineer, you're super hands-on, eh. From
Uh-huh.
patching to deciding things na, "Oh, ganyan lalagay natin 'yan," or, hindi ganito yung diskarte.
Oo. So
Pero
that
dude, nakakapagod like
kaya ano, yung you are saying mas mahirap na trabaho yung monitors.
in a way, I would say, cause like, you're trying to place what, 5
By and
people on
is it
stage.
tougher? Is it tougher
It's
than,
a
like
different mentality. I think both has its challenges pero ang dami talagang ginagawa sa monitor. So like it's a big relief lalo na when somebody goes like, "Oh, Justin, they have budget for a split." I'm like, "Now?" I'm like, "Yeah, like okay."
Okay,
No, cause 'di
okay.
ba ang dami to think of and very rare talaga yung occasions na may budget na gano'n. Cause like
Yeah,
most of the time, you have to do everything. And
yeah.
when you're asked to do foldback, which is monitors from front of
Conversion,
house,
yeah.
may ano, eh, tawag dito, you have to give up certain things, eh, 'di ba? Na okay, damn, I don't get to optimize the system so
Tama.
much.
Yeah, yeah. Lalo na kunyari ikaw pa yung rolled into one. But yung mga natutunan mo nun, like in Force Inc. right now, let's say, would you say, other than later on, sige, I mean, during the show, FOH ka, pero during the show, are you, shall we say, the systems engineer, you take on that hat para making sure that the system is optimized and all that before
Yeah,
you
so it
go.
depends on the show, like, so minsan I'm just the systems guy, lalo na if there's like a engineer,
Mhm.
or yeah, sometimes I'm the mixing guy naman tapos I could delegate the system engineering part.
Mm.
Sometimes if it's a smaller gig, you're everything, 'di ba?
Yeah. Uh-huh. Pero yung ano, and your, yun nga, I mean, where does the Justin as a VP of, operating handling Force Inc. and Justin as, para bang, teka lang, hindi, may labas ako. Bukas na yan. Alam mo yun?
Dude, that's hard. That's hard. Like pre-pandemic, we were building the team. Like I think I had 5 trainees that we were paying na to be like a Justin or a Paulo or a JC at the time. Pero yun, we had to downsize because of the pandemic. Let
uh,
people go. So right now we're slowly building back. Umabot naman ako dun sa point dati na I can like teach, eh,
uh-huh, uh-huh.
and really just be an umbrella guy and pick. Pero ngayon medyo hands-on again, eh.
Mhm, mhm. Wow. And what was the, yung para bang, um, what was the show that really like made you sweat bullets and, like, alam mo yun, and it went, I don't know if it went well or not, pero yun na nga yun, eh. What was the show that you could like bumakat dun sa memory mo na, man,
Dude, I don't know. Siguro an instance would be losing the connection between the front of house console and your stage rack.
the Cat 5, you mean,
This
losing,
one was coax and
ah,
somebody hit it. So we were at front of house and then suddenly we're not hearing the speakers and we're not seeing any of the meters move. I was with Paolo. It was in market. And I could see the crowd there. Parang they were already walking where the part where they're not supposed to be walking. So I was like, fuck, that's a cable issue. I left
uh,
Pao at front of house. I ran. Um, wala eh. Yung amps lang, yung guitar amps, yung bass amp, naririnig naman sa stage yun. But
yeah,
like, there's no vocals or anything. Quick thinking led us to run another cable and then that was resolved mga, what, 10 minutes tops. Pero yung mga ganong instance din,
yeah,
yun yung talaga nagkasabing, "Oh, I need a really nice, way to run cable from front of house to back of
yeah.
house."
Naisip ko pa nga, like, when you did say, coax, di ba? Para bang ano yun, nahugot. Kasi pag nahugot yung coax, like, man, you need some tools para ma ano yun, di ba?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's not an easy fix, di ba? So,
Yeah, or you run to the video guys.
yeah,
Kasi
yeah.
the video cable will run Maddie.
That's good. That's good. So yun yung ano, yun yung parang and that after that, yan, I mean, dun nag-improve yung mga ano mo, you realize certain things na parang
Yeah, after that we ran the backup cable na kasi you can run Maddie primary and a Maddie secondary. Eh. So like the
uh,
secondary will save your ass any day. Pero now there's octa-core, so parang if one fails, the other one will
yeah.
like salo.
But how does it feel to ano, to doing front of house? How does it feel? Um, you know, do you watch the crowd and also feel parang, uy, masaya sila. I must be doing a good job. Di ba,
Yeah,
ganun. Yung,
I think that's the rewarding thing about doing front of house is seeing the audience reaction versus just looking at the band. Kasi sometimes, alam mo naman, I mean, like musicians have a weird way of saying they like the music. Eh. Parang they do this, they make faces, diba? Na parang, shit, I'm really into it. Ganun eh.
yeah,
Pero
yeah.
yung crowd's the one like screaming and doing crazy stuff.
Yun yung parang yung mga bands na rin, titingin sa tangiti na sila, parang, yeah, we're jamming, di ba? Parang,
Yeah.
ano talaga, no? Pero yung, and actually, I get a lot, yung question na to comes up once in a while, na yung, ikaw yung parang, I mean, the band sees you, so parang pretty much everything's on you, di ba? Do you have like a certain thing that you do before the show just to build rapport with the band, or do you establish this kind of a relationship with the band, unlike yung kabaliktaran nun, yung parang FOH guys tend to be suplado sa banda, di ba? Alam mo yun?
Actually, that got better when I got a little older. Kasi before they were thinking, who the heck's this kid? Eh, tumatanda na tayo to the point na medyo kaedad na natin yung bands or they're younger than me.
Uh,
So parang dati was like, who's this kid? Now they go Sir Justin. So parang, or like Kuya sometimes.
okay.
So
Okay.
parang, I think there's that mentality na if somebody's older or as old as me, mas may tiwala ko dyan kaysa pag mas bata siya.
Uh,
And yeah, that relationship starts before the show pa lang eh. Like when we're doing the tech rider, counter riders and stuff like that. That communication sort of builds the rapport na oh, this guy knows what he's doing or this
uh,
guy doesn't know what he's doing.
Kumbaga, you take the effort of going to the band, you know, beforehand.
Well, thank God for Zoom now. So parang we can coordinate online.
I,
Kasi
I, I mean, like during the pandemic, yeah. But like before, para bang, you know, do you go up on stage and say, you know, hi, I'm Justin. Ako yung gagawa.
yeah, pag time ng pag may oras naman tayo during sound check, may ganun naman.
Uh,
Yeah, or it starts with the roadies then like you get to know all these roadies.
you're right. You're right.
You see them transfer from one band to the other or like yeah, sa katagalan din like get to know each other outside of like work.
No, tama. I mean, yun nga, tama yung, I mean, that the right, I mean, kasi during our time rin, no one had much roadies, yung mga ibang banda didn't really have.
Ngayon ang
But now
dami
you've
and they're
got,
really good, man.
it's a, pwedeng may sariling, you know, sub-industriya na nga yan eh. I mean, ang galing, ang galing. I mean, it's so fun to see more guys going around with bands, tech guys.
Yeah,
Tapos
and
yung
it helps
roadies
eh
mo.
kasi it helps the band and it helps a supplier like us kasi
Oo.
oh, they know the setup na hindi yung parang the band has to be the one to explain to you I
Yeah,
want my
yeah.
wedges here 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 or like
Oo.
this is what I want in my mix or like the unique non-verbal sign language that they do.
Uh-huh.
Kuha na
Uh-huh.
nila yun eh. I think a good example of that would either be like Parokya or Bamboo who really travel with their team, 'di ba?
Mhm.
So shout out kila Pancho, kila Sherwin, Ronnie, yeah. That
Yeah.
team, mga yan, good example yan.
Oo.
Or like
I,
Romel with Parokya, 'di ba?
there's ano eh, no, yung parang, alam mo na-mention mo kanina yung ano, yung sign language eh, di ba? Another thing about live sound, di ba, yung, I don't know, do you think ba, is there a, ano, parang, I don't know kasi, at this point ba, meron na ba parang typical senyas na nagkaintindihan? Kasi I actually have this, I went to the show, and it practically took a video of a guy, of the sound system, doing like, wow, ano yung sinesenyas niya? But apparently, sa sobrang tagal na nun, I figure, uh, hindi talaga nangyayari yung dapat nangyayari kasi ang tagal niya. No? Then, of course, there's supposed to be the intercom, but I don't know what's there. Is there, um, I mean, of course, there's our typical sign languages, but do you think it's definitely something na parang minsan na mapag-usapan lang just so that there are certain things that can be understood without alam mo yun, yung parang it's when everything's in chaos na tapos yung senyasa na lang eh. And that then it becomes critical eh. Because I yun nga nakita ko eh. So parang sabi ko, baka hindi, 'di ba, yung baka yung band guy and the kasi yung band guy and the sound system guy were talking and the sound system guy was just making signs to front of house na parang walang katapusan. So parang I don't know if the you know lost yung communication doon.
Yeah, I think that's really up to the two of you eh, kung ano yung nakapagkasundoan. But like, most of the time, it's a lot of pointing. Like, he'll point to the guitar
Bum,
guy and
bum.
then go
Ah,
up
okay.
or go down,
All right.
or like ears or something,
Yeah.
or like guitar, keys.
But do you agree that sometimes, it's not, I don't know, sabagay, in this time of maganda na rin mga monitors eh. But sometimes there's a difference between lakasan mo or an artist na they would assume it's about loudness but actually it's about yung hindi ako malinaw eh. Kaya hindi ko, alam mo yun, hindi ko marinig dahil hindi malinaw eh.
I
May
think
ganun rin
it
naman ano.
depends on the artist. Kasi sometimes you'll go like, I mean, there are very specific artists na, hey, can you
Mm.
compress my vocals a little bit so that if I go up or down, like, uh, mas constant siya? I was like, okay. Or
Wow,
like,
they're technical
oh,
ah.
can you high pass until 200? I was like, okay, shit. Like, thank God for schools like Mint and CSB for coming out with like artists like these na
Wow,
understand the lingo.
ang galing nun ah. I mean,
Yeah.
wow. Okay ah.
There's also that ano eh, that whole group that comes from churches.
Uh-huh,
Like these people know the tech eh. Kasi they play every Sunday. So parang
uh-huh.
yung mga words and stuff like that, they know it na eh. Kaya madali ka trabaho yung mga yan.
Grabe na-intriga ako dun ah. Ang galing. I mean, like, yun na nga yun
Yeah.
eh. They
Pero
put,
like minsan magigets mo din like there are some who are obviously studio people na parang to boost this, boost that. Like sa live we don't really do that eh, 'di ba? Cause
yes,
like
yes, yes, yes.
feedback kalaban mo nun eh.
Okay. So in a company like Force Inc., yung have you um in the process of making your team really good and all that. May meron ba kayong parang playbook na parang when we get into a venue, everyone pretty much knows ito, tapusin mo to, tapusin mo to, tapusin mo to para lang
Siguro
like
not written down but like it gets dictated na
yeah,
oh
yeah,
dude.
may understanding na of
Yeah, na okay like depending on how the other people are like videos not done with the LED wall so it doesn't make sense na we put up the backline already. Let's do the house first, things like that.
uh-huh, uh-huh. And oh, okay. So, and doing all of these shows na experience, I'm sure, of course, Force Inc. handles a lot of the big shows now. What's the craziest thing that has ever happened to a show? Like, not crazy like bad, but crazy in a way na parang, alam mo yun, it's just out of the usual na tatawa ka na lang, but it just, alam mo yun, how, yeah.
A multi-international gig in some island in the Philippines spanning a week with different shows every day. Yeah, I think that was the craziest. I
The
just can't mention the details because like we signed papers for that. But like um I think our clients know that we can throw some of the craziest stuff na parang logistics. Like we have friends naman all over the Philippines, so we know who to contact and help put up the show with. But yeah, the logistics of out of town events are really crazy and tiring. Yeah,
okay.
and
Okay.
yeah, it's just hard to wrap yourselves around. Kaya actually kaya ang dami ko ding pelican ngayon cause it's because
Uh,
of our out of town gigs na parang Mario, alam mo ba dati sa bangka, sa Boracay, kalahati nung bangka sticking on water na, half my belly is ano, submerged in
Sa
water.
virgin
Yung mga
water.
tipong gano'n na.
Hindi, alam mo, actually, I can't, hindi ko, I mean, when, pag nakikita ko I've went to some, but a lot of it I seen in pictures. Yung weddings alone are crazy. I mean, yung
Yeah,
level
yeah, yeah.
of
Shout
what
out to all our wedding MC friends. So we have a different like department enforcing that just takes care of weddings kasi even in my own wedding, parang doon ko na-realize na there's so much stuff to think about and it's totally different from doing a corporate show.
uh-huh.
So hats off to all the wedding coordinators and wedding suppliers out there. Like it's great working with you guys and I applaud you. Where it's nice being able to like work in different sub-industries, diba? Like we do
Mm.
corporate, we do weddings.
Maganda nga na nag-grow na talaga eh. I mean, yun nga, I mean, even 8-year-olds celebrate tremendous birthdays, di ba? Or
Yeah,
the
and
ceremonies
actually,
ngayon, naging
ano eh, doon ka
seryoso.
macha-challenge na parang,
Uh,
I wanna do something like a theater thing for, seventh birthday. And sometimes, dude, mas may budget pa yan kaysa dun sa theater play.
the theater.
So, okay, paano ko 'to gagawin? Or like, a wedding that wants to do like what, a 50-piece MPO. Like, dude, that's even more than some shows here. Tapos close mic 'yun, hindi 'yun,
Uh,
CCP na iwanan mo lang, good na.
yeah.
So that's when you start seeing like digicos out on social events and
Uh-huh.
channel counts like
Yeah.
exceeding one stage rack, which is 56 channels.
Hey, I want to get your opinion on that. I mean, yung miking orchestras for, sige, let's just say a wedding, di ba? Ganun nga. What's your opinion on whether do you do um, mic most of them, or probably mic them by groups, or pick the best one? Alam mo yon, yung ganun.
So I
What's your
think I
take?
had this conversation with Holland. I think he's known as the classical recordist here in the Philippines.
Uh-huh.
So si Holland and his team, they're doing like the mga CCP recordings where you have like a Deca tree or like a stereo pair up there. And I'm like, dude, I'm so envious. Kung pwede ko lang gawin sa wedding yun. Pero hindi kasi the noise floor is so high. There's so much things happening.
Mm-hmm.
So you can sort of mix it. Pero your lifesaver would be close miking everything.
Uh, Pero how's that? Kasi, di ba, in an orchestra, you've got a conductor that, di ba, pretty much in his mind mixes, di ba, he directs.
Yeah, so
But
you kind of have to
now you're
listen.
the one trying to interpret the whole thing.
You kind of have to listen to what an orchestra sounds like. So parang you have to add reverb on those violins para they don't sound like there's a mic na nakatutok like on it. So it
Yeah,
sounds like it's in a room rather than straight up in front of you.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, it's pag gumawa ng ano ng workshop para diyan, sabihin ko ikaw. Sabihin-
So yeah, it ano eh, like a lot of us use the clip-on mics for the violins and then yeah, some stuff naman pwede mo pangdaan sa condenser like
Mhm.
the percussion. Pero yeah, close miking violins are like it's expensive. It's not cheap. Because you have to pay for the condenser, and then that's one channel, and then how many
Yeah.
strings do you have? Yeah.
So, anyway, mga musta muna tayo ng mga ano natin, yung mga
Oh, PJ's there.
nanonood
PJ
sa atin.
Sico. Hi,
So yeah,
PJ. I know
Justin,
PJ's also mixing like orchestras these days.
uh,
Chrisney's here. Chrisney's from Pampanga.
uh our friend Marcy is here. Hey, Marcy.
Rico's here.
Uh, Joel Venezuela, our friend from Resorts World. Yeah.
Paul from Soundcheck. Paul Ibid's here.
Oh, Doc Leo, Richie Herones, how are you?
Si Jason nandito, yung neighbor ko dito sa
Hi,
Kalayaan.
Jason. Hi, Jason. Guillermo, how are you? And Chris Merto, how are you? Okay. And hey, Andrew. How are you, Andrew?
Bagong gising yan.
Bagay si Ben. Ah, ba't nandun ba siya?
Yeah, he's in London.
Oh, oo nga pala. Hey, Andrew. Good morning. Okay. So, Yung ano naman, yung, so like, okay, nandito ka na, you've been handling a company and ganun. But focusing on you as a FOH guy, what, for other guys that, of course, a lot of the guys really want to be the guy at FOH guy. What would be your suggest yeah, advice on how do they manage yung travel nila towards that, di ba?
Siguro we can remind people first that there are different jobs in this industry. Like you don't necessarily have to work for a rental company. You don't have to really be with a band. Like you can be a freelancer. There's very specific niches. Like you can be a mixing engineer talaga for the front of house. Na all you do is that. Na I just as a system tech, I will just turn over the system to you.
Mm-hmm.
So in that sense, it's okay that you don't know speakers and stuff like that because there's really this trust between you as a mixing engineer and me, for example, as a system tech. Or you can be the band's monitor tech, di ba? Pwede rin yun. Like, for example, the ones who travel with their own Allen and Heath Q pack, na their team's the one mixing their own ears. I think they just bring a split or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So daming ways na pwedeng pasukan. You can be like a systems guy like Marcy
Oo.
who would come in, optimize the rig.
It would be nice, no, talagang, you've got, uh, marami ka alam, di ba?
Yeah.
Because, like, it's not every day na makakuha ka ng trabaho for FOH eh. So, might as well have the skill na rin to be, sige, RF guy ako ngayon.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll do monitors or whatever. At least,
Parang don't just like limit yourself to one thing. You could, pero if you want to be versatile, you have to know a lot.
uh-huh, uh-huh.
Yeah. So like you guys have like Mark Paraiso who does RF
Yeah.
but sometimes does IT.
Mm.
Um
Yun,
you
yun.
have
Talagang ano, si Mark.
yeah, and
And
other people.
you're and enforcing kayo yung team mo ganon. Talagang does everybody know something about everything? You encourage that or parang specialize on something para
We're trying to go back there. Pero generally everybody has to know everything
uh-huh.
kasi you're the one delivering the system eh. So you have to know that this plugs into that
Mm-hmm.
and this is how everything meets.
Mm-hmm.
I think Jason has a comment. Learn all of the trades usually front of house kailangan mo alam lahat para may identify yung problem agad, which is true and links to what I said na you kind of have to know a little of everything
Uh, yeah.
kasi you hear a
Uh,
pop can be so many things. Diba? I mean, if we go signal flow, it goes from the artist to the mic to the console to the amps to the processor to the speakers. Anything in the middle of any of those
those
or multiple of those could cause it eh.
uh, uh, then you should know how to observe it kasi parang okay, may pop, saan ang
Yeah.
nanggaling?
Saan ka
'Di ba?
titingin?
O saan ka titingin?
Pumitik
Ano
ba
yung
yung board
gumagalaw?
ko?
'Di
Or
ba?
pumitik ba yung sa amps ko na hindi pumitik yung sa board ko?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Or
Actually,
may
saya.
naghugot ba on stage na it
Yun yung
was
masaya eh.
one pop?
Yung
Oh, yeah.
problem solving, sometimes yun yung masaya dun eh. No?
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, I think, me personally, I also like this part of the show. And yun nga, I asked you para bang maybe you could share some pictures with us kasi nga, I mean, we just love action, ano, seeing what's been happening. Could
Sure.
I
Does this
turn it
go
up?
full screen now?
Yeah, you go. Teka lang. Okay, I'll put it up. So guys, yeah, ito yan. I asked Justin to share with us mga pictures para lang we kind of get a feel rin yung kanyang mundo doon sa, during events. Okay. Ako para lang mas malaki yung picture, I'll
You can
disappear
drop
for
my
a while.
video. You can like remove my cam first also.
Okay. Hindi, kami na ni Justin mawawala para makita niya lahat ng pictures. Well, all right. Here we go. There. Okay.
All right. So full screen na tayo.
Yeah.
Okay,
Guys,
this
narinig niyo naman si Justin, no? Because, yeah, that should be how this thing works, eh. Okay.
so here's a screenshot from Instagram back in the day. Nasa States pa ako nito reminiscing about my Ateneo days. So ito ako, I don't know what year, pero that's what we had to work with in Ateneo Musicians Pool at the time.
Uh,
It was a powered mixer. A powered mixer has an amplifier for the speakers built into the back. So this thing's heavy.
uh-huh.
But it's also portable na tipong uh, speaker cables go at the back and go straight to the speaker.
Yeah.
So yeah, we had it on our Cariton, which we would push from our org room in the middle of campus to wherever we needed it to be. We would also bring this to bars along Katipunan before for small gigs. And I can't kung nakakapagsalita lang yan sa dami ng dumaan na artist there. Um it's crazy to imagine what uh Andrew DePano of Ben and Ben went through that. I think we had she's only 16 gigs also with that. So many people went through those
Went through
channels
that.
na crazy siya.
When they weren't even, yeah, when they weren't famous yet.
Yeah, when they weren't
Yeah.
famous yet.
Galing.
And then kami din on the tech side, like you had one auxiliary for a monitor, pero wala kaming monitor.
You should have them sign that when
Yeah,
you're
dude, I'm
doing.
trying to hunt it down nga eh.
Okay.
Yeah, so it had the basics, gain, EQ. We didn't have effects, pero yun, it was a fun thing to start on, and then yeah, we took off from there.
Oh.
This was the recital of that same org, so it's me, Paolo, and Justin. Dito, naging ambitious. Okay, bring out the 48 channel board. So yun, I brought the M7 to school.
Uh-huh.
It looked cool because ang daming faders on the M7.
Yeah, oo nga, oo nga. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody on stage there had a mic, so it was really hard. The guy on the right is Jago. Jago now plays for Kian, I think, as his bassist. The guy on stage on the right, that's Andrew from Ben and Ben. So
Hmm.
yeah, humble beginnings
Humble
from
beginning.
everybody.
Yeah.
And then fun fact lang din, Mike Constantino of Homonym was one of the founders of the org.
Uh,
So ito naman, this was in the States na. To the left, those are my friends. On the right is one of our venues in school, which we have classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays, which are called live labs, which is basically we invite bands to come in and then you fill out different positions. So there's front of house monitors, broadcast, and simulcast for
Oh,
audio.
wow.
Um, and then video has its own like roster, lighting has its own roster, like one LD for the conventionals, one LD for the movers. Um, that's how it was then, 'di ba? Parang hinihiwalay nila yung
Yes,
moving heads
yes,
sa
yes. Oo.
conventional lights eh.
Oo. Wow. I mean, ito yung lab, eh, no? That's your lab. It's an actual event.
And it was so
Nakakatuwa naman.
cool kasi at that time, whatever gear what that was there, we had here also. Parang perfect nga eh, na parang okay, like sure you are
Uh,
Digico. Parang it was just being home eh. Pero at the time,
uh,
wala pang mayor dito eh. Parang recently lang nila Marvic napasok yun.
uh,
But it was fun, it was fun.
solid. Okay.
After we would do the live lab, that would finish around 9. Diyan kami sa parang bar na yan kumakain.
I mean, the bar, is it like an operating bar na ginagamit lang during labs, or
Uh,
it's like
sorry,
a,
these are two venues. So yung sa
sorry.
kanan, parang isang building yan. Sa
Okay.
kabila, it's a
Oh,
bar near campus.
I got you. Okay, got it,
Yeah.
got it.
Pero big time na tong ibang friends ko dito eh. So
Uh,
like Dylan's like third guy from the right. He works with Green Day. So kung nakikita niya yung analog console na ginagamit ngayon ng Green Day, Dylan's the one setting that up.
saya naman.
Second guy from the right, si Calvin. Nakasama ko siya dito sa Philippines when Mariah Carey visited. So we had a
Oh,
sort of like reunion thing.
galing.
Yeah.
Isa. Yeah,
So ito yung campus.
oh, God, yeah.
Got this from the net lang.
Uh,
Yeah, Florida yan. So same temperature lang
yeah,
naman
right.
dito.
Tropical.
So ito naman some of the first few events I did coming back. I got back kasi September 2016.
Uh,
So, yeah, sabi ko sa'yo mahilig ako sa monitors at that time, puro monitor event 'to.
uh-huh.
A1 concert, so these were 4 foreign guys na ano, I had to mix ears for.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
They didn't have someone, so basta, yeah.
yeah, they didn't have someone, eh. I know Neil Tan was the one who mixed naman them for the succeeding, like, times they visited. So,
Uh-huh.
parang naging thing na lang ata that they just get a local guy.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Yeah, so the middle picture, that's an event in Shangfort. We had an orchestra, yun. Tapos the one on the right, that's Coke's Christmas concert in 2016. Direct Juno was the one that directed this. Um, yeah, good times.
Wow.
This one, 2017, Slabadu Cebu. I don't know why, pero 2017, it was so hard to get a Yamaha in Cebu area. So bro, doon ko na-experience yung we go to Pal Cargo Express, load this up, fly to Cebu, go to the Pal Cargo Express in Cebu, take
Uh-uh.
it, that's bring it to my tita's house where we stayed, and then brought it to this club. Parang nagulat yung club eh, kasi the club had two analog 16 channels lang din together.
Okay.
Tapos, God rest his soul, si Phil from
Oh,
Cebu.
yes. Uh-huh.
Phil
Uh-huh.
was the one that really helped us like with gear. Parang he volunteered the monitors I got from him kasi walang monitors yung club eh. And this was my tito from the States. This reunion concert there. Eh.
Oh, okay.
Tapos multi-track recording in 2017 wasn't that easy yet. Hindi pa uso yung mga USB out lang.
Yeah,
Fuck,
yeah.
nagdante pa ako nun in a bar in Cebu. Pero yeah, it was fun. It was fun.
Uh,
2018, Circuit Makati.
uh-huh.
So yeah, I did front of house here. At that time, ayun, nabili ko na pala yung one channel na my promo nun eh.
Okay. Yung ano, for your tuning.
818.
Yeah,
Yeah,
818, yeah.
kasi imagine like these outdoor things, if you have to run XLR, ang hirap eh.
Uh-huh.
So
Uh-huh.
yun yung mga first few gigs niya nata. Okay, 2017 also Mall of Asia Arena, Bench Under the Stars. I shared this picture because as you can see from the speaker configuration, it's not your basic left right.
Yeah,
The Canadian
I was going to
team
say that.
wanted a distributed audio instead of just a main left right.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, the challenge there was hanging all these speakers and flying the amps.
So
You
you
can
had
see
speed
the
racing pretty much around the arena and then shooting down dun sa seats on the court sa, area.
yeah. That's multi-level pa. So like I think it took a week to put everything up. But yeah, it was a good show. Parang bench hired this Canadian team or French team to come in
I can't
and
imagine the
do
budget,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't ask Jake. So here naman left is 2018 Asian Denshin Music Fest Mo Open Grounds. So part of my job as a system engineer is putting the system up, which I enjoy.
Mhm.
Tapos itong gitna naman Aegis Double Decada. I think Dan Blaza was the one that mixed front of house. I was
Okay.
system engineer nun. So you can see SPL readings dun sa smart laptop na nasa likod. The laptop in front's the one that controls the speakers.
Uh-huh.
So EQ, muting, presets for the amps, that's all done in the other laptop here in front. And then the picture on the right, that's supposed to show the MyPro 818 kung nakikita. And the measurement mic measuring in Mall of Asia for Celine Dion. So ito
Uh-huh.
yung mini-measure nung system na yon. So at the time, we had 20 units of K2, which we partnered up with PMX to get the quantities
Oh
when we
man.
had outfill of Cara. And
Uh-huh.
then, yeah, we also worked with Soundcheck during that time.
Uh-huh.
Uh,
I'm just curious, sorry to
yeah.
bother, but you di ba you had there was a time you had Vertex,
Yes,
and then
2010s.
it came to a point where you switched to acoustics.
Yes.
Okay. What made you choose acoustics over?
I
I'm not
was in
trying
the
to be
States
political.
at the
I'm just
time
curious.
when we had to make that decision.
Uh-huh.
And Vertex encountered a problem in its life where the drive packs became unreliable.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, to the point na you would have a flown array and then one comes out and then you have to run socapex kasi ika-cluster mo yung buong array na okay kung nagloko yan may mapapatay ako. Hindi yung
Ah,
the whole
yeah.
thing goes off.
All right, all right, all right.
So yun,
Yeah, kasi
vertex
naka ano ka eh, usually dati naka daisy chain ka lang sa power. Tama ba?
yeah, in a sense na hindi naman the whole thing pero like
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
had to
Yeah.
cluster it
For
talaga.
four, yeah, okay.
Pero ayun, like you had to be able to turn stuff off like that and then the network was buggy, which they eventually worked on naman when they released the VTX and then the A series after. But yeah, naging DNB L Acoustics Adamson-ish yung industry when I left college eh.
Mm-hmm.
So parang you saw these parang top tiers things really dominating the riders. I mean, L
Uh,
Acoustics has been there from the start,
yeah,
but
yeah.
it wasn't
They
as
practically started line
requested.
arrays,
Yes, with the VDOS. But like with the K2 kasi it became a practical format eh.
Mhm.
Na hindi siya yung VDOS na ang laki or just the K1. The K2 was a perfect size eh. 12
Mhm.
inch but a high SPL, easy to rig, things like that.
Uh-huh. Okay.
And if you can actually see, you'd see a lot of resemblances na from the K2, the A series of JBL has a lot of stuff that came from this. Same with like Adamson when their newer stuff, DNB.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, so they're really a pioneer. Kaya I think that's what drove us to really pick them. And they're really nice boxes, like dependable. They're
Uh-huh.
running 7 years now. Okay pa naman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
7 years. Well, all right. I mean,
Here
your money.
system tech work in Kia Theater naman.
Uh-huh.
So there was a front of house engineer. So I just had to turn over this car system to them.
Uh-huh.
Part of your questions to me was like, what's in the rack? So
Uh-huh.
before in 2019, naka-rack pa yan. Pero nakita ko yung need to have it modular come pandemic na less manpower has to move. So all that lives in smaller cases now. But before that was my desk. That's my office.
Mhm.
Na I would have, as explained earlier, something to control the PA or my drive system, which would be the L Acoustics Network Manager. And then I would have Smart as a verification software underneath. Tapos, after the foreman, that's a Clearcom 702. So I just have comms with me in case I need to patch it.
Mhm.
Under that is a Lake LM44, which is a system processor. It has EQ, delay, and stuff like that when needed. Kasi hinihingi yan ng foreigners lagi kahit medyo archaic na yung interface. Kasi yun yung nakasanayan. Pero it's a powerful machine. The music group still produces it. Under that's the 81A from my Pro, and then I have a Roland Octa Capture. So that's my audio interface naman. And then there's a two-channel my Pro underneath there.
Oh,
Tapos I
okay.
used to have two racks of SPX 2000s and then two DBX 180.
Let me it.
Yeah. So actually here mas kita 'yun sa
Okay, okay.
picture ko sa left. So
Uh-huh.
like two compressors, two reverbs. Wala lang like pinaglaruan ko lang siya for a time na I would insert the compressor in the digital board, parang have a hybrid setup.
Mhm.
So I enjoyed the sound of the SPX 2000. I think a lot of you older folks would like agree to that na it was a really good reverb, right? There are older ones here pero ano na eh, like what do you call this? It's not as tour worthy na.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, sometimes a question of practicality and simplicity. Parang, instead of bringing something around pa,
Yeah. Pero yeah, I get why a lot of guys like those outboard gears before. Pero now it's available naman in your console and
Yeah,
can be placed digitally with like waves or something like that.
yeah, like a plugin.
The right naman it's a Korean meet and greet in 2019. I didn't have my second laptop ata nun, but I had iPad control for the SD5.
Uh-huh.
This one naman is in Okada Cove.
Mm.
So yeah, I opted for Cara so that I can have longer line length. Kasi longer line lengths in line arrays equal more directivity in the
Mm.
vertical axis. So I want to reduce the bleed into the back concave wall. Otherwise, it would come back. That's
Ah.
one of the venues that you have to look out for in terms of acoustics. It's similar to like Araneta. Like parang kaya naman to ng 4 na K2 lang. Pero I needed the directivity of a longer line source.
Hmm. Like, oh,
This was a picture of us in the pandemic. Ako yung mismo nag-lock sa bodega namin noon. It was a sad time, but like I put it here just to remind ourselves what we didn't have before and we're enjoying now, which is live events are back. So the pandemic, this was the first of our AES tutorials then, diba?
oh
So we had
yeah.
a lot of time at home building our like streaming rig. Little did I know that this all the concepts applied in that small broadcast would apply to all the shows I would do for the next 2 years. Kasi here's me in July. That picture was taken in March. So March, April, May, June, July. So like yung live stream thing, live stream mentality,
Mm-hmm.
we really had to apply it eh.
Uh-huh.
This was one of the first in-person shows done during the pandemic. So this was the launch of the Toyota Wigo. So yeah, we had these um dividers pa before para magkakahiwalay, face shields, everything.
Yeah.
Ito naman mixing another live stream during the pandemic for Nissan with Barbie Almalbis. Shout out to Magic who mixed the multi-tracks after. So
Uh-huh.
we had that luxury nun eh na, oh, it was like there's post.
Mm-hmm.
This one's with TM. So I'm doing monitors from back of house in a room. So parang I got that ano dun eh, that sort of studio-ish vibe or workspaces in the pandemic. This was the
Uh-huh.
time I worked with Anton and David. They were the studio that would mix it down. So they'd be in another room recording while I take care of FOH and pleasing the bands.
Okay.
Oh, that's to them to the right.
Uh,
Yeah. To the left, shout out to Randy Rojas of Silent Sank. So yeah, that's me turning over the system to him while I'm doing multi tracks there.
was it challenging, sorry to break you, but was it, syempre when suddenly everything was streaming, but you were doing bands and yung live, a live event, no? Ganyan. Um, did you have, ano yung parang pinaka kinailangan mong parang i-calibrate in your mind na parang, no, this is not FOH, this is streaming, ito limitations nito. Ano yung mga, di ba, what were your major considerations? So when suddenly, teka lang, streaming to. So you had to,
Volume became the thing kasi parang there was always that last bit of the signal chain which is into the person streaming that you had to look after.
uh-huh,
Like no matter what your meter was on your console, depende what interface the guy down the line had. If it was like a really cheap interface, audio interface, you'd be screwed eh. Kasi
uh,
kahit naka really expensive board ka, yung praise niya would clip so much. Like
mm,
yari ka eh.
uh-huh,
It would sound like shit and the clients would listen on their phones and go like, basag yung tunog. And I'm like,
uh,
whoa, shit, that's not my problem. Like, look at you.
but did you also monitor your, yeah, yung parang you were doing your sound, but you're also, do you switch to, let's say, another, like a phone setup just to listen kung kamusta
Yeah,
siya?
so a lot of times I had my iPad not running the control of the board, but rather like listen to Facebook Live there. Tas I have in ears that pwede kong pakinggan ng ganon.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then it became a habit na lang to make sure to calibrate with the guy before the show starts na, yo dude, this is the loudest I'm gonna go. Just please make sure you're not clipping.
Mm-hmm.
Tapos yung mga routing din, Mario, like mix minus. I knew that term na before, but like it was a word that not everybody knew in the pandemic, which eventually everybody had to know
Had to
kasi
know,
yeah,
a-
kasi
and then
feedback happens eh.
had to figure out how to do with
Yeah,
live sound.
to
Ano,
those who don't know what it is, it's basically an aux without that person in it.
yes, yes.
So yeah, dun nauubos dati yung ano eh, yung mga aux kasi instead of you sending to wedges, you would send to multiple parang Zoom laptops that they would have.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, thank you for
So
that input. I knew, I just had to, kasi parang there's a lot of people that yun yung in their minds also.
so yeah, we weren't limited to small venues like this. We ended up also towards the latter part of like um the pandemic, quote unquote. We were doing mga shoots naman in like World Trade na. So this is World Trade level na car thing. So like from mga white space venues, we were able to do bigger ones now, which was a relief to me because wala sa pictures, I had speakers for the first time. It was so different hearing this SB-28s, which are dual 18s, hit your chest again. I was with Direct Frank Mamarel with this one, and he said, Justin, iba talaga pag may speakers, no? And I was like, yes, Direct,
Yes.
totally. Kasi sa streaming, man, for 2 years, Yamaha HS80 lang naririnig ko eh.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Ang
Yeah.
ano eh, no? Wow,
So this was one
nakakabuhay.
of the shoots that we did during the pandemic, the masks give it away. This was with the ones. One of your questions to me was what band do you enjoy working with? I
Yes.
enjoy working with these guys and their team. So
Uh,
much so that we ended up in Dubai together in December of 2020.
uh-huh.
Yeah, so this was during the pandemic. We performed at the Dubai Expo.
Wow.
So we
Who,
have Lester, Alvin, and Carlo on the left. They're the
who's
main
the
tech
band
guys.
again? Who's the band
The
again?
Juans.
The ones.
Yeah. So they have a concert in October. Please support them. Yeah. It was a good experience. There were a lot of Filipinos in Dubai, so um, it was nice to link up with those people, say hello, ask how their lives are in Dubai.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Uh 2021-ish ata when we got to hang K2 again for the first time in Araneta after the whole pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, hanging PA is fun also. To those that don't know also, this is a full-time job in some places. Like one of my classmates is in charge of just flying the left side of the PA for a major tour in the States.
The left side.
Yeah, kasi parang para mabilis yung load in nila, may
Okay.
naka-assign na yan sa kaliwa, may naka-assign sa kanan.
Uh,
Yeah.
iba yung ano,
So this
ibang
one
ano.
naman 2022 na Mall of Asia Arena for a bench meet and greet, acoustic speakers again. Yeah, this was one of the first meet and greets of 2022. It was nice to hear the crowd, pero man, K-pop fans, they're really, really loud. Eto May, Miss Universe. So Mark Agustin mixed front of house. I was a system tech. Yeah, had a good show with that one. And then last month, Binibining Pilipinas. So the two major pageants here in the Philippines we were able to do this year. And then as you said before, socials, that's also a big part of Force Inc. Shout out to May and Hazel, our socials team. So yeah, we have these kinds of
Damn
this is a
balloons.
birthday, sorry, not a wedding.
That's
This is
supposed to be clouds?
uh yeah, colorful clouds or something like that. But man, diba parang talo pa theater play. So
Yeah.
they had like a little Encanto themed birthday. And then this was my last show last week with Toyota naman. First time they invited so many people again. It was fun.
Mm.
So yeah, that ends the
Oh
show
yeah,
and tell
well,
part.
thank you. Well, thank you for that. So, what do you think would you have been if you're not doing this one? If you're not involved in live events right now, what would you be doing now? Saan ka kaya?
Siguro corporate. I like that part of our management classes before. Eh.
Ah,
Yeah.
so really like
So
all
either
those top
PNG,
end,
Unilever, mga ganon.
yung mga ganun multinational thing.
Yeah. Pero
Okay.
I'm kind of glad na I ended up here.
Yeah.
I
Diba?
met you
Like,
guys. I met everybody in AES. It's been fun. It's hard.
yeah,
It's really hard. It's a hard job. I'm not gonna lie. I'm tired. It's been crazy trying to recover from the pandemic. But yeah, we're gonna get through this, and yeah, we're back naman eh. So it's just a matter of pushing on.
true. Sanay ka pa rin sa puyatan.
Well, I've learned to avoid puyatan. Parang be able to delegate tasks because you work better when you're not puyat.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Ganun. Anyway, well, hey guys, hey, oh, thank you for hanging around pa rin. No? Kung may tanong kayo kay Justin, just put it there. And hey, Raj, how are you? Just joined us now.
Hey, I hope you're okay, bro.
Yeah, thank you. Alex Parpan, kamusta kayo dyan?
Hi, Alex.
Um, yung nga, mga ano, kung may tanong kayo. Anyway, so yeah, if in terms of in your handling bands, sino sa mga bands yung ano you think
So
are
I mentioned the ones earlier.
yeah.
I also like Moira's band. So James, Jarek, and Luis, and all the other guys there, like they're nice to work with.
Mm,
Actually, most of the young guys, like even Zach's band, which is led by Magic as their
oo.
front of house engineer. It's nice to communicate with the people who know terms, same
Mhm.
concepts. Yeah, para madali yung share of information, coordination, stuff like that.
Yung ano nga yung ngayon nga yung the music the music itself no yung yung pag-evolve ng music now when I listen to the radio sometimes or I listen to my daughter's music parang ano pa it went in a lot of directions and it seems to be yun nga, as a front of house guy parang ano yung it wasn't just rock period or pop period it was suddenly ngayon and for you probably exciting rin yun yung you do you listen to let's say if you're gonna do a band do you listen to their tracks before doing it
Yeah,
just to have a
just to have an idea of what's gonna happen. I
uh
try to know who the band members are,
oh
stuff
okay
like that.
oo ganun ano
Tapos have
ay
that conversation with them na, oh, what do you need?
tama no Rico Bicol kamusta kailan daw tayo magkakape
Pag nawala
Hakin
tong
na natin
stage
doon
na
si
to.
Justin
Here.
okay anyway well wow it's been a good time with you, Justin. Saya, saya.
Likewise, likewise.
And guys, thank you for hanging around. It was really fun. Thank you for sharing the pictures. Gave us a good insight on yun na nga, actually the scale of it's quite exciting that the scale of shows that you handle are
Richie has a
you
question, sorry.
oh Richie yeah okay
If
yeah
if
let's
you
go with this
fly a
one.
sub, what is your cutoff point? And also, if you do three-way like you have mid, high, stop, bass sub, I think it depends. So for example, with our system, I could choose to fly the sub either with a cutoff of 100 or 60, depending on how you want to use it. If you fly the sub on top of K2, you have to use a higher cutoff frequency because basically you're just trying to extend the line to make it more directive in the low end. I could fly it behind, pero if I fly it behind, I have to use 60 na. Parang it acts as a sub. Pero it's a
Ah,
15-inch. Yun. So it depends on what you're doing and you have to know what you're doing. Kung you want throw ba or like you just want more even. Kasi ano bang nakukuha mo pag hinahang mo sa likod yung sub? Mas nagiging coaxial siya na yung sub nanggagaling sa isang point in space rather than magkatabi siya or nasa baba tapos mag-a-align ka pa. Yun
wow,
yung considerations nun, Richie.
do you do Oxford subs or with your system now it's not the way no it's always
Depends.
a full system
Um,
everything passes through the processor of
yes.
okay
Pero yeah, it depends pa rin what you wanna do. Left, right sub. Kasi yung sub mo, it could also be just a group naman. Kung group siya, basically, it's like an aux din naman na parang I just pick certain stuff.
Mhm.
Pero yeah, trying to teach people to use LR na lang. It's more common. And at least your board out sounds better kasi you're not playing around with like uh the sub pushing or like pushing the sub or pulling it down and stuff like that that will
Mm.
cause weird things happening with like your board out mix. Kasi 'di ba yung iba sanay sila sa aux-fed subs tas nag-record sila nung left right nila tas sasabihin nila ang nipis kasi they don't treat the entire system as a system na buong-buo yan. Kasi I mean studio guys know it naman na you only have one master bus. And with us din naman parang ganun. But that's not
Mm.
always the case. You also have to learn to use matrices. Like for example, these complex arena shows na you have different fills in different areas. Um, kunwari, your front fill, you might just want to send vocals there and not anything else. Or hihinaan mo yung vocals dun. Stuff like that.
Mhm, mhm.
What's the hardest setup or request that you had live? More reverb in the monitor, please. I'm not even kidding. Or like, make me louder.
Yeah, what do you? Oh yeah, okay. Yung
Yeah, that's a
ano,
long conversation,
yeah,
but
yeah, it's a
yeah,
long
that's the hard
conversation.
one. Eh. People don't get it now. If you put too much reverb there, feedback happens, and they actually sound more distant because you're adding space into that
Yeah,
mix.
yeah, yeah. Oh, all right. That was fun. Any more questions for Justin Santos? Masaya to. Dapat nagtatanong kayo.
Yeah, yung
Uh,
hardest request din, yung mga parang sa RF naman that they expect. For example, wireless comms. Justin, ba't di ko marinig yung comms ko sa CR? Parang like, dude, RF's not magic. Like, you don't get it everywhere, man.
okay.
Tawang-tawa na lang ako nun eh. Some
Yeah,
SM.
yeah, yeah. All right.
Alvin's here from the ones. He's their main tech.
Hi, Alvin. Yung Sosto mo, kamusta? Oo nga, sometimes they just, actually, yung wireless nga, parang, yung parang kala nila, okay, it'll just work
Yep,
anywhere.
yep, yep. I
It
wish it was
should.
like that, no? Like even you as somebody who sells wireless mics, you wish you just turned that thing on and it's
Yeah,
magic,
it's
right?
perfect all the time, di
Yeah,
ba?
you can have 100 of those, no problem.
I don't know. Okay, so Marcy's asking, what's the craziest production, technical wise? I guess, no?
Huh, I'm not sure how to answer that one.
Oh,
This was a good one. Eugene asks, how
okay,
loud should the SPL for a particular show?
that's good. Yeah.
Siguro it's genre specific.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Pero you should
Um,
know like exposure levels also, Eugene, like so that you know how long you can stay exposed. Kasi it's not just like one number. There's always that time factor, 'di ba? Na over 8 hours, ito lang yung kailangan mo, ito lang pwede mo, things like that. I won't go into depth
yeah.
with that
Yeah.
kasi like that's a whole seminar that Marcy can actually lecture you guys on SPL.
I remember seeing a picture that you actually had an SPL meter on your desk, di ba? So
Yeah,
parang do
pero I
you use
went
that?
away with that na Mario kasi yun nga, there's a factor of time. So instead of merely looking at SPLA, we look at something called LEQA na, which is the it's an average in a minute of that A weighted value.
Mhm.
Kasi 'di ba sa music naman may mahihina lalakas. So yung SPL meter mo, it only tells you SPL in that specific second eh.
Ah, yes.
Pero yeah, you'd sort of want an average to get a better idea of like your noise exposure eh.
Mm.
So
Okay.
sa smart na ako tumitingin dun.
Uh-huh.
Pero nice to have in your bag. Actually akin naubusan na nga ng baterya eh.
So
Pero yeah,
you've got your
95 for like an average show na may banda, carry.
uh-huh. Okay. Alan Pasqua, what do you mean about horizontal arrays?
Ito ba yung mga parang
Display or like yung mga kasi
baka
may
parang yung mga arcs.
yeah, may mga arcs, diba? May mga lumalabas ngayon, very
Yeah.
tight yung horizontal ano. Uh-huh. I
Siguro
guess
depende
it's
sa application, right?
yeah, yeah. And in some cases, yung mga ganun yata, I've seen some that have rotatable horn, so you could basically do that or
Yeah, or like
basic.
our classic example, RCF6001, which we still use. Horizontal arrays.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Nakamatayan.
In terms of
uh,
acoustic, what venue is the most challenging? I think
yeah,
we
oh
have a lot of
that's a good one. Yeah.
challenging venues here in the Philippines, and I think it would be nice if you're a little red on acoustics to understand the different phenomenons that would happen. For example, if you're on Kia Theater and then you whack your snare or you talk, you'd hear yourself again eh, kasi the balcony is pointed to you eh. Kasi you'd know, okay, that's a reflection.
Mhm.
Or like Araneta, ganun din. Parang, oh, bakit umiikot yung tunog? Parang may reverb na. So, yeah, I'd like to quote Noel from Soundcheck on this. We were there 2 weeks ago or something like that. We were talking about it, and it's like, sabi niya, it's one of those things that you just live with. Kasi, dude, acoustics, you can't fix that naman with EQ eh. A
Uh-huh.
lot of people go like, "Alam, just EQ it out." Dude, hindi sa EQ kasi yan eh. You have to fix it there in the room eh. Kasi kahit
Uh-huh.
tanggalin mo yung frequency na yun, edi yung other frequencies lang naman din yung iikot. I had a
True.
funny example of that acoustics thing in Trinoma a few weeks back also. I was pink noising the right speaker but I was hearing it from my left ear. Concave kasi yung room, 'di ba? So pag
Uh-huh.
bumuga dito, umiikot dun. I was like, guys, tama ba yung routing? Yeah, fun stuff.
All right. Let's jump to Richie again, just for a ano. Richie Herone, um,
What's the best thing to do if you have 12 to 18 mics on stage that I need to boost volume?
flip
I
one.
think I shared the post a while back also saying na, dude, you can't just have a lot open and expect it to be as loud as one mic lang. 'Di ba? Kasi there's potential acoustic gain. So, there's a limit. So, if you have that many mics, mafa-force ka talaga na mag-under ng iba, tas aangat mo lang kung sino na talaga magsasalita. Which
Mhm.
in essence is what Dan Dugan did with the auto mixer. Na parang, okay, all these channels, they would have a shared gain. Tapos kung sino yung nag-cross ng threshold, siya na yung bibigyan ko nung gain. So
Mhm.
yun lang magagawa natin eh, because we can't really defeat physics. We just play around with it.
True, true. And for our last question, Harry has this.
How
What's a
to
trick?
deal venues that produce more reverb. So we're not totally helpless. So one thing you can do is to have a distributed system. Meaning, hindi lang left, right. Parang you're gonna have more speakers in the room closer to people so you can have more direct sound versus the the term eludes me, the reflected sound or the room. So, uso to sa mga simbahan. So, if you go to big churches in Europe, you'll see a lot of smaller speakers surrounding the pillars. Para hindi yung alingaw-ngaw. Kasi pag linagyan mo ng dalawang speaker sa harap yon, magtutunog hall, magtutunog cathedral talaga yan.
So essentially, overwhelming the reverb with direct sound.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Si Jason, inaasar ka, ano?
Ilang beses mo sinabing parang? I don't know, somebody will win a prize from Mario if you get that right.
All right. Anyway, well, Justine, again, Justine, thank you. Pare, maraming salamat
You're welcome. It's
for
been
gracing
fun.
our
I've
show
missed you
and
guys.
entertaining everyone here. I'm sure marami napulot naman ng karamihan and if not all. Um, again, well, I don't know. Thank you. And it's nice to see. Alam mo, naging interesting sa akin to kasi nga a lot of now more than before, um, yung mga guys na in sound systems to pass it on to the to the son or to the daughter kung sa anak man, seldom happens, but you see it more often now, and it's great. And
Yeah, shout out
yun,
to the new second gens art
yeah, the
out
second
there.
gen, yeah, exactly, yun na yung continuation eh. And there's nothing like, and it assures na yung growth eh, no? So
Yeah,
again,
and
sa
like,
mga ibang ano diyan, good, I mean, nako,
keep it up, guys. Keep it up.
keep
Let's
it
let's
up,
let's
keep it up.
keep pushing up that bar. Like, I know other people are like doing it also.
Yeah, fantastic. All right.
Angat
And
natin yung industriya sa Pilipinas, 'di ba?
oo, marami pang i-improve yung industriya natin. You have to do it together and hope yun nga yun. Just for everyone to get together for a common goal. Sana yun nangyari.
Yep.
Yeah, any last words, Justin?
Stay safe, enjoy life, and be kind.
Right? Be kind. Tama,
Yeah.
tama, tama. All right. So, with that, everybody, maraming salamat sa sama sa pagsama sa atin. It was a very very fun evening. Thank you, Justin. Say hi to your dad and
Hi,
maraming
Dad.
salamat.
Who's in LA?
Everybody that was with us, maraming salamat sa inyo. And again, sa susunod na show, thank you, good night, and God bless. See you soon.